Hey Dragon Ball Z fans, today we're going to be diving into one of the most puzzling questions in the whole of Dragon Ball Z. That is, why is Vegeta always holding his left arm? Now, we've all seen it, whether battling androids, fighting Freiza, or going head to head with Goku. Vegeta's left arm seems to be taking a battering more often than not. So what's the deal? Is the Prince of all Saiyans prone to arm injuries, or is there something else going on? Now you'd think with all his Saiyan pride that Vegeta's arm would be made out of something far tougher than just flesh and bone. But guess what? Saiyans are just like us when it comes to their anatomy. So let's break it down with some real world science and medicine and figure out exactly why Vegeta's left arm is always the one in trouble. Okay, let's start with some basic anatomy. The left arm, like in any human or Saiyan for that matter, is made up of three separate bones. You've got the humerus that makes up the upper arm, and then you've got the radius and the ulna that make up the lower arm. It's also home for some of the most crucial muscles when it comes to fighting, especially when you're someone like Vegeta who throws punches faster than you can blink. You've got the biceps and the triceps, which are the main workhorses for extending and flexing the arm. But when Vegeta's holding that arm, wincing in pain, he's likely damaged one of four different structures, that being the bone, muscle, tendons or ligaments. So let's take a look at what could be going on when the Prince of all Saiyans grabs that arm and why it's always the left one. First up, one of the most famous examples is Vegeta versus Android 18. She didn't just give him a bad day, she completely fractured that arm. Now, when we're talking about fractures, especially that of the humerus, these can be really serious injuries. A break in the humerus can lead to severe pain, swelling, and a limited range of movement, meaning even an all-powerful Saiyan would have difficulty with throwing a punch. Plus, there are some really important nerves that also run down the arm, for example the radial nerve. And if this is damaged, it could limit Vegeta's ability to move his hands and fingers too. Now, in real life, a fractured humerus could take anywhere between 6 to 8 weeks to completely heal, and that's without battling androids every day. But since Saiyans have accelerated healing, as well as those handy Sensu beans, I'd imagine that Vegeta would likely heal far quicker. But to depict how serious an injury this is, despite taking a Sensu bean, we still see Vegeta holding onto that arm, which tells us that once a bone is fractured, it can sometimes never be the same, leading to a constant weak point that's vulnerable to future injuries. And another consideration is whether he's not only fractured the bone, but possibly dislocated the shoulder joint, where it's actually popped out of place. And signs of this might include the arm looking completely deformed or held in an odd form of rotation, or possibly looking completely limp and useless altogether. And unfortunately, if this has occurred and the joint's been disrupted, this could leave you vulnerable for the joint being dislocated again in the future, which might explain why this is a recurrent problem for Vegeta. Now let's talk about soft tissues. In the fight between Vegeta and after he'd taken a few devastating blasts, Vegeta was once again holding that left arm. And in this case, it looks like Vegeta's possibly suffered a rotator cuff injury. Now, the rotator cuff is a group of muscles and tendons that help to stabilize the shoulder and allow you to move it through its range of movement. If Vegeta took a powerful blow to the shoulder, for example a ki blast, it might be that he's torn one of these tendons. Now believe me from first-hand experience, the rotator cuff tear is incredibly painful and it limits your ability to lift your arm up, which might help to explain why in this instance Vegeta's holding it whilst also struggling to fight with that arm. And to add to this, even in training, Vegeta might be making the situation worse by overworking that left arm. Overuse injuries like tendonitis are really common in real athletes, and unfortunately, Vegeta trains harder than anyone. Constantly powering up and pushing your body beyond its limits can lead to inflammation of tendons, particularly within your shoulders and elbow. And tendonitis can certainly cause pain, stiffness, and difficulties with gripping things or picking things up. So after spending hours training at 300 times gravity, it's really no surprise to see Vegeta clenching that arm like he's done 1,000 push-ups. And to make matters worse, tendinitis is normally treated with rest, something which Vegeta isn't really keen on. Knowing Vegeta, instead of resting, he'd likely just pop another Sensu bean, ignore everyone's advice, and just get straight back into action. But whilst we're on the topic of Sensu beans, there'd be a really nifty thing to have as a doctor. So let's do a fun little deep dive into theoretical science to explain how these Sensu beans with miraculous healing properties might actually work. And just remember here guys, we're in the realm of speculation because Sensu beans clearly don't exist in real life, but what we can do is draw on our knowledge of both biology, nanotechnology, and believe it or not, particle physics to help explain their mechanism as well as their fantastic healing abilities. So one of the most obvious effects of Sensu beans is to completely heal someone's injuries and restore them to peak condition. So with this kind of rapid healing, it suggests that a Sensu bean has some way of triggering extreme cellular regeneration. And in theoretical science, there are a few ways that this could work. When the body sustains injuries, cells need to multiply via a process called mitosis to replace damaged tissues. And normally this process takes some time, but could it be that Sensu beans contain a bioactive compound that's able to somehow accelerate this cellular division? This would allow your body to repair wounds and regenerate tissues and organs at an extremely rapid rate, effectively restoring physical damage in a matter of moments. The beans could be releasing growth factors, which are basically proteins that help to regulate cellular growth and healing, but it could be doing this at a hyper-accelerated rate, that it would be like mitosis, but on steroids. Another theory is that Sensu beans could be activating your dormant stem cells in your body. You see, stem cells are really remarkable because they've got the ability to transform into any kind of specialized cell, whether that's in a bone, muscle, skin, or any other. So if Sensu beans work by stimulating your stem cells to differentiate and replace damaged tissue, this could help to explain how they're able to heal things from open wounds all the way through to broken bones. In a more futuristic scenario, Sensu beans might contain nanobots, that is, small machines that are able to travel around the body and repair your body at a cellular level. And these nanobots could be designed to scan your body for injuries, fix them at a cellular level by performing microscopic surgeries, and they might have the ability to boost your metabolic processes, speeding up how quickly your body can heal itself. I wonder if we could put this idea to Bulma and the Capsule Corporation and see if they might be able to fashion some form of artificial Sensu bean when the natural ones are unavailable. Another key feature of Sensu beans is their ability to restore the user's stamina and their energy reserves. Just after eating one, characters like Goku and Vegeta look fully revitalized and ready to carry on fighting. And this could be explained by using the concept of energy metabolism. You see, at a cellular level, energy is produced in the form of ATP, which helps to fuel all biological processes in your body. Could it be that a Sensu bean contains substances that boost your ATP production? This could theoretically be done by enhancing the efficiency of your mitochondria, which are the organelles in your cells which are responsible for producing energy. So if Sensu beans are able to increase mitochondrial function, this might be responsible for producing a massive amount of energy, almost instantaneously restoring your stamina. Now let's go even a little bit further into sci-fi territory, since the Dragon Ball Z series often ignores all of the rules of physics. It's possible that Sensu beans not only speed up natural healing processes, but possibly manipulate time in some small way. What if Sensu beans worked by creating a small localized bubble of time dilation around the person who's eating it? And this could work in a similar way to the room they use to train for the Cell Games. Inside this bubble, time could be passing at a far quicker rate for the body's cells, which might account for an accelerated rate of healing, whilst on the outside maybe only a few seconds have passed. And really, this concept is actually rooted in Einstein's theory of relativity, where time moves differently in different gravitational fields and velocities. And I think this theory has been touched upon, or at least worked into the story, in some of the aspects of the original Dragon Ball Z anime. Another wild theory are that sensu beans work at a quantum level and are actually somehow linked through quantum entanglement. In this theory, the beans somehow trigger the body's particles to shift into a healed state, bypassing the actual biological process of healing and instantly restoring the body to its previous peak condition. I mean, no matter how you slice it, sensu beans are the perfect blend of biology, futuristic tech, and a little bit of Dragon Ball Z magic. And at the end of the day, going back to Vegeta and his left arm, this is probably just going to be one of his weak points, which is due to multiple factors, being injuries, overuse, and a little bit of bad luck. So whether it's bones, muscles, or tendons, we know that repeated traumas lead to chronic issues, and Vegeta's clearly dealing with some lingering battle scars. So the next time you see Vegeta holding his left arm, just remember, yeah, he's tough, but even the Prince of all Saiyans has to deal with the realities of his anatomy. But don't worry, he's a Saiyan, and I'm sure he'll keep pushing through the pain to keep on fighting, because, well, that's what makes him Vegeta. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below for any more Dragon Ball Z deep dives. And remember, no matter how tough you are, maybe take a break once in a while. Even Saiyans need some rest. Thanks.